Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. In this podcast, we like to tackle the CNC industry specifically and really talk a little bit about business in general. Hopefully you'll find some entertainment throughout it and hopefully some education. But the next episode starts right now. Welcome back, everyone. I know it's been a couple weeks. I am your host, Brandon Bombardo, here with Nick Peters.
Hello, Brandon.
How are you, man?
I'm good.
I'm glad to be back.
Likewise. Hopefully this podcast thing is kind of like riding a bike.
Yeah, man. It's been a few weeks since you've done it. You've been out for what,
like
3?
3 weeks.
Yeah. Woo!
Long time.
Man, that's nice to have the co-host back, though.
Is it?
It is.
That's good.
It's just more comfortable.
That's fair.
I took a week off last week. Not too often I get away, but it was the IMCA Super Nationals in Boone, Iowa. And I decided that I was going to go race for a week.
Looked like fun.
Had a blast until the end.
The weather was great.
Weather was awesome.
You got a nice tan.
I did. I got a little tan, except for when you wear your hat backwards. You get a little bit of a mark from where the hat was.
Right. You're old enough to not do that anymore.
Nope. I was working on race cars. You know what happens when your hat's forward? It gets knocked off.
Just don't wear one.
Then my head burns.
And you probably have a better chance of cutting your head open if you hit it on something. That would suck.
Definitely, without hair, you cut your head open a lot more on stuff.
Yikes.
It's amazing how a little bit of hair will protect your head.
It is, actually.
But no, we had a lot of fun. We were down there. You had a lot of fun. It looked like you were in Vegas.
I was. Yeah, it was awesome.
Dude, your Sphere video that you sent me was probably the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That place is insanely cool.
Yeah.
Like, just from the time you walk in and there's like kids talking to robots and like they're all over the place, and then it's all fancily decorated, and then you got to take these escalators that are like super steep and like 4 miles long to get to the next floor because it's just like so angled and so high.
Right.
And then you walk in there and they have like the movie screen size like movie, like the preview thing sitting there, and I'm like, this movie better not be on this damn movie screen the whole time, right? Because I had no idea.
Right.
And then the lights go off and it starts, and it's like a picture of Earth because the movie is postcard from Earth.
Okay.
So it shows like the Earth rotating, and then all of a sudden it like starts moving closer and getting bigger, and then it gets the whole movie screen is covered with the Earth, and then it just like explodes into the whole thing like of the movie.
That's cool.
And there's wild horses running around and everything. It's just like your seats start shaking. And then, like, during the thunderstorm part of it, there was, like, mist coming out of the seats, and the chairs would shake with the thunder, and then you could smell, like, the rain through the place. It was just, like, nothing I've ever seen before. It was awesome.
Dude, like I said, I only got to see some of the videos you sent me, and it was pretty awesome. I
wanted to go back the next day.
Oh, really?
We had stuff to do, but we went to see Shania the next day, so we didn't have time, but
yeah.
Let's go, boys.
Yeah, it's...
we had a good time. It was awesome.
Dude, your trip was pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie to you. I was taking it all in every day when you sent me the videos, and you sent me a lot of pictures and stuff, and I kept showing my wife, and we were just really jealous. I've never been to Vegas for vacation, like more than a few hours. We went before we went to Hawaii for our anniversary. Our stop was in Las Vegas, so we were there for only a handful of hours.
Yep.
But we've never actually like spent days in Vegas other than like when I go down for trade shows, which I'm working the whole time. So to see you doing all the stuff you did, I was like, I even told my wife, I'm like, I didn't realize like how much cool things there were to do.
Oh yeah.
Outside of like gambling in the casinos, because it's like
I probably gambled for 20 minutes the whole week.
That's
like,
so
we just
crazy.
don't do it. Like,
yeah.
And we usually don't have a plan when we go. We just kind of like wing it and whatever.
Yeah.
But there was like a lot of like Ticketmaster had a big sale for concerts, so we got like Shania Twain tickets for like $20.
Oh wow.
It was super cool. And then like other stuff we just found like deals on leading up to it.
Yeah.
So we just bought stuff and had plans like every day.
Yeah.
But we usually don't. We just kind of wing it, but it was awesome.
Yeah. It looked cool.
The food in Vegas is ridiculous. There's so many good restaurants. Like it's just
the hole in the wall pizza place, the hidden pizza place that you found.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That was pretty cool.
There's also one there, like at the same hotel, like just down the hallway. There's like a barber shop, and then you just walk past people getting their hair cut and knock on this door that says janitor. They open up the little thing and you tell them a code word and it's a speakeasy and they let you in.
Really?
Yeah. It's like behind the barbershop. Nobody really just knows unless you see videos of it.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's all sorts of crazy stuff.
That's cool.
It was fun. Yeah.
Huh.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, like I said, glad to have you back, obviously.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
You were definitely missed while you were out. I give you a lot of crap, but man, it's amazing how much stuff you do around this place until you're not here to do it. And I'm like, dang, I got to do that now.
Well, I appreciate that.
So, no, welcome back. Like I said, trip looked awesome. Glad you decided not to move there permanently and leave us.
I tried.
I know. You definitely
Wouldn't
tried.
let me,
I had to put my foot down on that one. But yeah, and then obviously I was gone for the next week. So, Super Nationals was fun. We 160 something cars in my division. There was 1,000 cars total there.
What?
Yeah, 1,000.
How big is the track?
It's like I think just about a little over 3/8 of a mile.
Where is it just like
Middle of
cars?
Boone, Iowa.
I know, but like to get all the trucks like in the pits and
Dude,
stuff, is it for like just
dude, as far as you can
every-
see, there's trucks and trailers, and
That's pretty sick.
yeah, it's ridiculous. And you're packed in there like sardines. Like your trailers are inches away from each other. Like I can't open the side door on my trailer. That's how close you are to the next trailer.
Oh, I suppose I got to cram them all.
Yeah,
in
they're
there.
crammed all in there, and it's crazy. But like you get to know a lot of people, and I met people from Kansas, and I met people from Oklahoma, and just it's really cool to race with people you would probably never race with.
Right.
But yeah, we had 167 cars I think in our division.
That's crazy.
Ended up qualifying 11th, so I was pretty pumped about that. Like it's a pretty big accomplishment. And then at the end, our fuel pump broke, and we didn't get to race.
Well, but even so, finishing whatever you did out of 160, so
27.
I mean,
Yeah, ended up 27th. Three cars pulled off before me. But
you beat 134 other guys. So.
That's my thing. It's like it's still
and
awesome.
And you had fun. Like you meet,
I had a
like you
blast.
said, you meet the cool people. You
Yeah.
hang out with cool people. I mean, that's aside from winning, that's what it's about, right?
Yeah,
I
and
mean, having fun
honestly,
cool
it's
people.
more about that than it is the winning. Like I've told people, like winning's awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But if you literally are racing only for winning, you're going to be miserable a lot because there's so much talent that you can't possibly win every night. So like you're going to lose more than you win.
Yep.
So if you're literally going to base your success and your happiness off of wins, you're going to be miserable. So for me, it's all about the experiences and the people that I get to meet. And I've been very fortunate that I have had a lot of cool people come up and introduce themselves to me. And, this week we met Dylan Thornton with DTR, which is Dylan Thornton Racing. And he's got his own company that he specializes in building race cars and
a sweet
shocks.
name.
Yeah, he's just an awesome guy. They call him Dilly Dilly. How cool is that of a nickname? But I mean, he won 2 of the big races. He won the late model and the modified. But like one of those down to earth guys. I met him, had no idea who he was. I had a buddy introduce me to him because I needed something, and got to know him. And now we're working together on some stuff. And it's cool to meet people like that you wouldn't without this event, I would have never met him. I would have never had the opportunity to approach him and talk about our program and how we can make things better. So just a really fun experience. The whole thing was a blast. And, now we're back, and I guess I'm kind of happy to be back. Sometimes it's more work to be away than it is to be at work. So
I am too, to be honest. Like you just kind of get in that routine, and then you break it for that long, and it's just people are waiting on stuff and whatever. It's just let's just get back to it.
I agree. Yeah, I came back and I had buddies oh man, dreading to go back to work tomorrow. And I was not. I was like, man, I can't wait to get back tomorrow. I just want to get back to my routine, get back to the office, see everybody, and just, really jump into, for us, the end of the year. It's the end of the year now.
It is.
It's crazy. You start to think about fall's here. We're jumping into fall.
2/3 of the way through the year. Already.
Yeah, my kids are already in school. They're all back. My wife started, teaching again. They're back up. So it's just nice. The whole family's back into routine. Hockey kicks off now for us. The kids' hockey has started. So
fantasy football.
Not that hockey really ever quit, but yeah, fantasy football kicked off this last weekend. I got the W.
My little Drew started flag football last Saturday.
I saw that.
I won this week too.
Yeah, I saw you won. I mean, that only happened once last year. So
okay, it was a couple more times than that.
I'm sorry.
But there's no more bets on the line this year. So
yeah, I'm really bummed about that. Stella was pretty pumped about the fact that you lost your beard last year.
She was thrilled. And I actually brought it up again on Sunday and asked if I made any more stupid bets with my beard. And I said, no, I didn't.
This is his...
That's probably smart.
How old is she?
She's 11.
11-year-old daughter talking trash to him about his beard being shaved off last year because he lost it.
Even though it grew back in 3 weeks.
I know.
Just
lost it in a fantasy bet, and his 11-year-old will never let him live it down.
God, that was dumb.
But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty pumped to be back here. And, today I think we have an exciting episode. We're going to get into some customer questions and comments, and then we got an audience question again for you. And then this week's episode is going to be on the importance of quality tech support in CNC operation. So I thought that'd be a good thing for us to chat about. And then we're going to do, of course, my favorite, Internet is Broken, the ridiculous internet comments, and then motivational quote a week before we jump into our final thoughts. So how does that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I'm going to jump right in then. Current events. I lied. I don't know why I hit that button. That was not the button I intended to hit. We already did current events. So let's just do our customer questions. How's that sound? Customer questions and comments. There we go.
There you go.
Hey, you know what? It's been a couple weeks. Give me a break. So we had a question. We had a gentleman that commented that said, fiber lasers are excellent and far better than plasma cutters. Why don't you guys build a fiber laser? You're not wrong. Fiber lasers are awesome. However, I think there's some, is it a bias? You'd be a little bit biased, I guess is the word I'd be looking for, right? You're being a little biased when it comes to that because I would never say they're far better than plasma. It's all application specific because, head to head in an application where fiber laser is good, fiber laser is better than plasma. But there's a lot of applications where fiber laser really just doesn't fit the customer's needs or budget.
So it makes obviously more sense to have a product that fits 95% of your customers as opposed to 5%.
Well, I mean, exactly. I mean, when you look at it, for one, they're not for everybody. Fiber lasers aren't for everyone because, there's a lot of safety protocol, especially in the United States now. Like the United States got really stringent this year. Specifically, they passed some laws that now fiber lasers have a lot of regulations on them. So what used to work for a flat machine isn't even legal in the United States anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a safety concern that the laser can bounce. So, that being said, the machines now are much higher cost. There's a higher cost associated with that, but also there's some significant limitations when it comes to the thicknesses you can pass or you can cut. The majority of affordable fiber lasers are going to, cut 3/8 and down. So if you're a guy that has to cut 1/2 inch to 1 inch material, you're either buying a massively expensive fiber laser, or a plasma is a far, cheaper and more affordable way to go about that. So,
well, what's the quality like between the two? Are they relatively the same?
I'm sorry, the quality?
The cut quality.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've misunderstood there. Yeah, the cut quality of fiber laser is, it's superior. I would say that is head to head, if you're cutting this, the rated material, right?
Yep.
If you're cutting for that fiber wattage, you're going to find that there's a lot less dross. You're going to get a lot less, angularity when it comes to a laser. Laser, there's just tighter tolerances, But again, it goes back to depends what you're making, because there's many guys that make tractor parts or John Deere parts, or they're making things that nobody's looking at the angularity, and they don't care if there's 3 degrees of bevel on it.
Right. They
They don't care because it's getting covered. They're bolting it. It's a bracket that bolts something else together. That it doesn't matter if the edge has a slight angle to it. It doesn't matter if they have to grind the slag off it a little bit. So again, it's all dependent on what now, if you're cutting control boxes,
Sure.
Control assemblies, computer towers, lasers, you have to.
Yeah.
It's the tolerance you're looking for. But there's a lot of projects out there, like me as a race car guy. I don't care if my bracket for my suspension is lasered out or if my bracket is plasma cut out. It doesn't matter to me.
Sure.
So to me,
you just have to. You just have to know the product you need and what you're going to be using it for. Obviously.
Right. Exactly. So I think that's a lot of the reason why to say it's far better than plasma isn't necessarily true. There's a lot of applications where plasma actually is more affordable and a better fit. That said, we don't have one historically because of the cost of fiber laser. It's for the many years previous, the cost wasn't able to fit into our clients' budgets.
Right.
We're not selling $500,000 machines. That's not who we are. We build machines for the everyday consumer. We build machines for shops that are 1, 2, 3-man shops, maybe up to a 10-man shop. We're building for the people who are the mom and pop businesses.
Right.
We're looking for companies that we can empower with more automation capabilities that previously were cutting it by hand.
Yep.
So to sell them a product that's $250,000 probably isn't a real good fit.
No, they're not making the products that are going to be able to pay for something that crazy, right?
Right. It's a lot of our customers don't even run their machine every day.
Right.
They're cutting their parts, and then they have to go spend the time installing the parts and doing the next process, and the machine sits for a couple days. So, we certainly believe in the technology. It's right for certain applications, but it has to make sense for the consumer. And right now, CNC plasma has a lot of benefits. There's still a lot of good stuff about it. That being said, obviously fiber laser is definitely in the future. There's definitely a lot of technology out there, and I think you'll start to see more fiber laser as the world evolves. There's no doubt about it. But I definitely am not going to say that it's superior to plasma all around, because there are applications where plasma just makes more sense. But yes, if you're going to go head to head and just say, I don't care about cost, I have unlimited budget, yes, fiber lasers, it's badass.
Yep.
I mean,
Right.
So now, number 2 of the day was referring to an Out and About episode with Mind Life. I don't know if you saw the Mind Lifeline
I did.
Out and About, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But the customer said, incredible showcase, always a pleasure to talk with an owner of multiple machines and the benefits they've seen from implementing them. Well, we agree with you. I mean, I think Mind Life has done an incredible job. If when you look at what they've accomplished, I think they're only at the tip of their own growth. They have a lot of runway in front of them as far as their company goes. We're excited to be a part of that. Another customer of ours, Wolfgang Sixel, had said, if you buy it, you will find the work. And it's probably the truest thing. Like, it's when people branch out of their normal everyday stuff, right?
Yep. That's one of those things we talked about multiple times on this, right? Like, you don't have to say no anymore because you have the ways to say yes and do those things that you've typically not been able to.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, once you have a tool, you're going to find more uses for that tool.
Absolutely.
And most people do, at least. You don't stop using a brand new tool. So, without the technology, you simply can't grow the same, and I think that's what Mind Life has proven. Like, they added the technology and the technology has evolved their business. So now they have multiple machines, and it's really cool because without the first machine, you wouldn't have grown to needing the second machine because you didn't have, the reach for it. So yeah, I think that video was a really good showcase. And if you haven't seen it, make sure you go out to our website and check out the latest Out and Abouts and check out the Mind Lifeline Out and About with ShopSabre. I think you'll really appreciate that one. So number 3 was referring to the video that we showcased us planing material. And they said they don't understand how sucking it flat and cutting the surface will take out the bow. Well, you're planing the surface is what you're doing. You're not necessarily taking out the bow per se, right? But you're creating a flat surface now. So you're flattening off the surface just like you do on a spoil board.
Yes.
You cut your top of your spoil board, flip it, cut the bottom of it the first time you ever use a spoil board.
Right.
It's that same mentality. You're just flattening it so you have a working surface that's flat. We don't care what's going on in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, the thickness might not be the same on both ends, right?
Yep.
But it's flat. And so if you're going to make a table, if you're going to do like everything sits flat, everything is going to line up, and that's really what it's about. Is taking the surface and giving you a planed or a flat surface. So it's much like your spoil board. Obviously, you're just using a fly cutter. You're not removing the bow per se, right? You're just surfacing the material.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. And then that's what I got, I guess. Do you have any questions or comments you want to add in before we jump on?
I don't think so.
Cool. Well, then with that, I got a question for the audience. So, the audience question of the week: how do you see your business changing in the next 9 to 12 months? I'd love to hear from you guys on what you see happening to your business over the course of the next 9 to 12 months. So when you get a chance, leave it in the comments, Facebook message us, send us an email. You can send it to marketing@shopsabre.com. We'd love to hear from you. Like I said, I love hearing your guys' response to those questions, but I just was thinking about it. And where do you see your business going, or what do you see changing in your business in the next 9 to 12 months? I'd love to hear from you. What do you see happening in the next 9 to 12 months?
Hopefully business going to the moon.
Yeah.
All the way up
All
and out,
the way
right?
to the moon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think in the next 9 to 12 months, you're going to see, just further adoption of CNC automation.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of growth in front of us in this industry. I think we got some really cool things coming down the pipeline, which will help with that. But yeah, I'm excited. I think we have a lot of features and, options. We have a new ADA Braille system that we're getting ready to showcase. We didn't invent it, for the record, but we are selling it, and it's going to be an attachment for our machines that I think people are really going to enjoy. It's something that's going to change that industry quite a bit. So really excited to showcase some of that stuff. But I think for us, the next 9 to 12 months is just going to be continuous innovation and continuous growth. I think we got a lot of cool things that we've been working on, and our R&D department never stops.
Right.
I mean, they're always working on something, and I'm just excited. I mean, we got the ISA that just debuted, and I'm excited to see where that goes over the next 9 to 12 months. We've had an overwhelming number of responses to that machine. We've sold a lot of those machines, and I was quite shocked, to be honest. I didn't expect it to be as many of those machines as we have sold, but thank you to everybody who has, obviously made the investment with us. And I think that's what I'm excited about for the 9 to 12 months is just to see more of that as these machines, we get more videos on them. And, obviously we're working on some new videos and we can actually show the machine. I think the sales will just continue to follow.
Right. Yeah. Obviously once people see the amount of things they can do to, obviously make their shops run way smoother.
Correct.
With the, a loader, unloader, all the stuff that goes along with it. I mean,
I just think automation in general it's just growing, and it's just people are seeing the benefit of having less people,
yep.
Not having to try to find more people for the shop, but being able to put more equipment that bolsters the capabilities of the people they already have.
And I think that's the key, what you just said. A lot of people are seeing it and accepting it.
Yeah.
And being willing to,
yep.
Accept the fact that things do change and you do need things like these in your shop, even if you are, old school or think doing it the other ways are, the way to do it, obviously making it quicker, faster.
Yeah, I think 10 years ago,
better.
People were scared of the technology.
For sure.
They thought it was going to replace them. Oh, I'm not going to tell my boss to buy a CNC machine. He'll fire me.
I think people are like that with a lot of things, though, right? Not even necessarily just CNC.
But I think it's different now. Like a lot of people they want their boss to buy it because they realize it's not going to replace them.
Sure.
It just allows them to be more efficient.
Right. I guess I would just say more like in technology in general. Like people just kind of
technology scares
accept
people.
It.
Yeah. AI.
Yeah.
Scared the heck out of everybody, and now you start to really see some of the power of it.
And like the cool things it can do.
Right.
Heck, I came up with an idea for a tattoo I want to get from AI. I just told it what I was looking for, and in like 30 seconds, it spit out a few pictures of it. And I'm like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
It's just like things like that you don't have to like spend time doing that didn't really.
Well, Hunter, he's doing our fantasy football league with us, and he used AI to draft.
Really?
Yeah. He typed into AI kind of like his strategy or what his thought was. And like AI told him what he should be like thinking about doing. And that's how he drafted. He had one of the highest scores of the week this week. And it's just like, you think about that and it's kind of crazy that like just utilizing that as technology, like allowed him to compete like on a level that he otherwise didn't know,
See, you had to go in and throw the facts out there. I was going to say, well, maybe AI isn't as smart as we thought it was.
Yeah.
And try to crap on him a little bit, but.
No, he was second highest score of the week. So.
Yeah, interesting. I had no idea he did that.
Yeah. So, because I asked him when he was drafting, I'm like, what are you doing? Because he was like, picking people when you just don't, there's historically, when the quarterback's going to go, when you're going to take a kicker. Like he was taking things just at random times.
I thought the same thing when I was.
So I just asked him and he was like, AI told me to do it. I'm just going to do it. And it worked.
If he wins, I'm throwing the challenge flag.
Dude.
Cheater.
It's awesome, man. If it wins, like we're all going to be using AI next year.
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Yeah. But anyways, that's what I knew. So, jumping into, again, this question of this week, I want to know, how do you see your business changing in the next 9 to 12 months? So enter it in the comments. And with that, we're going to jump into this week's topic, which is the importance of quality technical support in CNC operations. So really, for me, this episode, I want to talk about the essentials of quality tech support and how critical it can be in maintaining an efficient CNC operation. To me, I guess let's just start off. Why is technical support, why does it matter in CNC operation?
I guess if I was answering that question just as you posed it, for me it would be because a lot of people are brand new to it, right?
Right.
And then we'll have a ton of questions on how to operate things, how to set things up, how to program, all the things that go into actually making the machine do what you want it to do, knowing that you have people you can call up and ask your questions that a lot of people, I think, sometimes are afraid to ask because they'll send emails and be like, hey, I have a dumb question, or hey, I don't know who to ask this, or whatever. People just need to have the confidence to ask those questions and know that they're, no question's a dumb question, especially when you're learning something that you had no idea about before.
Right. And, for me, CNC machines are a tool, right?
For sure.
And these tools are very complex in their own ways. And when you specialize in something like your marine business, for example, right, or your automotive business, you're an expert in that field. However, when a CNC machine or a tool similar has an issue, right, you suddenly find yourself in a predicament where your business is dependent on something that maybe you're lacking knowledge on.
For sure.
Right? And that's the part of why technical support is so important to me, is that like ultimately your CNC machine, you purchased it because of the precision, right?
Yep.
The functionality. And if it's not running at its best, you're being hindered, right? It's hurting your business, right? And you need to understand how to correct this. But if you're not the person that knows how to like maintain it or build it, right? Or you don't understand the technology, it's going to disrupt your business.
Absolutely.
And it's going to slow you down. So now, whether it be mechanical or software or, whatever. Let's be honest. Operator error is probably the most common.
Yep.
It's more common than you realize. Is somebody just tells the machine to do something, and these machines are going to do exactly what they're told to do.
Correct.
And I'd say more times than not, that's what happens. Is they think they're having a machine issue or software issue or something, but they just clicked the wrong button or they did something, and it leads to downtime, right? Yep. Because either they wreck the material or they break a bit or whatever. But when something happens, whether it be the operator error, let's say you do have a software issue, you have a mechanical problem, it's going to lead to costly downtime in your business.
Yeah, for sure.
And whether that be production delays or a dissatisfied customer, those things are a hindrance to your business long term. And so, like with ShopSabre as an example, we understand this, and that's amongst many of the reasons why we build our machines here in the United States. We're one of the few CNC companies that actually are manufacturing, right? And so we do it because we want our customers to call us. We like when they're in the middle of something and they're having an issue, they can pick the phone up and reach out to us. And it's because we're not a distributor, right? We're not just distributing a product with our name on it, but we're actually the manufacturer. We're really proud of that. And we understand the ins and the outs of the product. And therefore, we can provide you with a dedicated support staff that understands how to keep your business functioning and running with the utilization of the machine.
That was the one thing I was going to say is with the machines being built here, the guys in tech support know that each machine is built the same way. They all operate the same way, have the same parts and functionality. So it's easy for them to diagnose and figure out what the problem really is, as opposed to, who knows where these machines are coming from and how they're put together. Like, does a company really know exactly what they're sending out? Probably not.
And that's like our focus is on quick and efficient responses. Like whether it, quick and affordable ways of diagnosing, right? Whether it's that or whether it's just simply like tips and tricks, showing you how to do something, teaching you how to use it. Like, we understand the equipment. Where a lot of, like, we've all dealt with those tech support companies where you call somebody and the guy on the other side of the phone, you feel like he knows less than you.
For sure.
Like, I hate that. I hate calling a company and then they're like, did you plug it in?
He's following a flow chart on the screen as he clicks.
Correct. I'm like, yeah, I plugged it in. Is it on?
Yes.
Yes. Like, and by the time you're 15 minutes in the conversation, you're finally at the point where you wanted to start.
Yep.
I just hate that. So, our goal is to minimize your financial impact. I mean, obviously that's our goal. And keep your production schedules on track. Like that's really what we do. So, that's why to me tech support matters. And, a real world example of this for me is we have a client who owned a, competitor's machine. And this machine is a brand name, but it ultimately imported from China directly. And it was white labeled, obviously. It has their company name on it, but it's not built by them.
Right.
And his operation went down one day in the middle of a very large job. So you can imagine how stressful that could be, right? Sure. Your largest job, you work your butt off, you bid on it, you get it, and your machine goes down. He called their support team. He waited 24 hours to reach someone, which already to me is frustrating. I hate waiting 24 hours for anything.
I hate waiting 24 minutes.
Right, dude, especially if you're down.
Right, for sure. I mean, some of these people, like, it can be a make it or break it of whether they make it to the next week or not. I mean, that large of a job that your business is waiting on, if it doesn't get done and you don't get paid for it, well, I mean, some of those small busineses could really get nailed by that.
Yeah, so not only do you lose a day of business just waiting, right, which that's in its own topic, but he now had a machine that was effectively useless in his operation, right?
Yep. And
so once he got the call, he was informed that the parts that they believed would be needed were 2 to 3 weeks out. Like, could you imagine you're down 24 hours and now you have 2 to 3 week lead time on getting the parts?
And that's just to get the part, and then you have to fix it and get it all
reworking
and up and running.
The reason that they told him why it was 2 to 3 weeks out is because it wasn't the current model that he owned. It was a 2-year-old machine, for the record. But it wasn't their current model.
It's a poor excuse.
Right. And thus they had to special order something in. Because they couldn't just take something off the machines they're selling because, again, they don't have parts inventory. They have machines because they import. Then you fast forward 2 weeks later, right? So these are real stories, just for the record, right? 2 weeks later, he fast forward, the parts arrived, and the issue that they believed it was not the case.
Oh, no.
So now you waited 2 weeks for a part that wasn't actually the problem. The machine remained inoperable, and the customer is still losing out on profits and had to outsource the work finally to get it done. So he had to pay somebody else to get the job done that he was paid to do.
That's crazy.
And, when you think about like with an American-made brand, and obviously this story came up because he bought a machine from us.
Yep.
He ended up buying it from us. And he's told me the story because obviously he's had his machine now for a little while and he was talking about like just the difference. And he said, with an American-made product, specifically Americans support it, our team is able to provide you with parts sourced locally right away.
Yep.
So like, with us, we have over $4 million in parts inventory here at ShopSabre. So we can get you back up and running. And the nice thing about that is he's not having to be told, well, you have an old model.
Yeah, right.
Like
I thought that too. Like 2 years isn't really that
no,
long, really.
like,
I mean,
we support our first machine.
Could you imagine having a car that's 2 years old and they're like, oh, you're going to have to wait forever for parts because it's too old?
Oh, I'm sorry. You have last year's model. So yeah, and we're not importing parts. So that's a huge thing. And then additionally, since, we're the manufacturer, we don't discontinue things, right? We find a solution. We're able to help you. It's discontinued just isn't a phrase that we know here. Mm-hmm. We have the ability to source parts and find a solution. Sometimes it's retrofitting something, but we figure out a way to keep people running. And obviously another case of this is our own Sean Morley. You guys probably know Sean from the podcast and the videos, but Sean had an issue. He had a computer crash on him. He had a computer system go down on Christmas Eve, several years back. And this was actually before he even chose to work with ShopSabre in terms of like doing some of the video stuff. He was just a customer at the time. And he's in the middle of a job and computer board and his controller went down. And instead of like costly downtime and the loss of time, our team was able to grab a new one off the shelf. And we actually, Steve here, he's not here any longer. I'm actually pretty good friends with Steve. And Steve drove to it, was like, I'm going to my family's Christmas anyways. I'm going to be going that way. I'll just drop it off. Brought the computer to Sean, dropped it off, and Sean was able to finish his job. But I think about that, and it's like, again, you don't get that service from import companies.
No.
You just don't. Like, he was able to work through the holidays, keep his business going. And again, not having that support could have resulted in costly downtime and could have, lost revenue. It caused him, issues with the holiday enjoyment, right? You'd be crabby the whole holiday. And or he would have been cutting things by hand or outsourcing and paying somebody else. So it's just those type of things are like real scenarios where like having quality support really makes a big difference.
Absolutely. I mean, heck, even with some American-made companies, you wouldn't have somebody dropping a part off at your house. I mean,
and I think that's where it goes. That's not just import people and that, but it's actually just like that's the difference in quality support is that doing the things that others just aren't willing to do.
And that's for ShopSabre specific. Like that's just it's like a company culture. Like people want to go above and beyond to help
it's everywhere.
Customers. Like it happens all the time. Little things. I mean, it's probably a lot of little things that go unnoticed that people do. You know, that they don't just because people don't want the praise for it. They're just they do it to make sure customers are happy, and it's just how it is. And
then let's talk about a little bit further, like going on to quality tech support, but like preventative maintenance and training, right? Like, I always say that a machine is only as good as the people running it. That's kind of been my phrase forever. Is I can build you the greatest machine in the world, but if you don't know how to use it, like you're not going to make the machine look very good, and people are going to think it's junk, right? So like you talk about. Like for ShopSabre, again, going back to quality support is like we have Sabre Nation, which is our user group, right? You can connect with other users. And I love that because people think like, this is what frustrates me, okay? And I made the joke about it. Like if they have a problem, we give you lifetime phone support.
Yep.
Just pick the phone up and call us. Don't go on the internet and post. Just call us. Let us solve the problem. But people think that user group is there so they can just like put their question out there and they don't have to call somebody.
Yep.
Like that's not the purpose of the group. The group original foundation of the group was to connect users with each other. So that way, like as an example, I'm cutting cabinets and I need to know what the best paint is for this application. Like that's the stuff ShopSabre doesn't know.
For sure.
So like you should post that so somebody can help you. Or where do you source this material? Somebody can help you. Hey, what do you charge in the industry to do this labor? Those are the things that like really the group was intended for.
Yeah. And my thing is like you'll see somebody post a picture of their controller screen, right? With some error code.
Right.
And they're just hoping that somebody that replies to that post actually knows the real answer, right?
Right.
Because why would you want, I mean, just call the support guys that know exactly what it means.
My frustration.
And have them answer you. Like, I mean, if I was running a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 machine, I wouldn't trust some random person that I don't really know to hope they tell me the right answer. I mean, they could be right. I mean, obviously, a lot of guys know a lot about the machines, right?
It's a double-edged sword. I look at it two ways. I look at it as a positive because that means like that's how much trust they have in our group.
Yep.
That like they believe they're going to get the right answer all the time, which is awesome.
Yep.
I love that because it means that like we're doing something right, that people believe in the users and the group. But there have been many instances where somebody posts something and I watch the comment come in real quick before I can reply, and the first response is wrong.
Yep.
It's just completely way off base. It's just something they regurgitated off of another post they saw 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And it's like, don't do that, because if you do what they're doing, you're going to make the problem worse. Like, yeah. So it's like, that's the thing is like, sometimes people are confident in being wrong. Like they have a really good sense of like, oh, this is the answer. And it's not the answer.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, that's where I kind of go back to like, just call us. Like, have the ability to pick the phone up, but like having the user group there that if you need assistance on something outside of like, diagnostic, like you just want to know how to do something or what bit to use or what material. Like, I love having that user group, right? And then you have Sabre Nation University, which is a stem of that, which is us creating videos, training videos, showing you how to set something up or how to use a function of the machine or, how to do something with the CNC machine. And
you can basically go to the search function of that page and find almost anything you would have a question about, I think.
There's a lot of stuff out there. We have a ton of videos and we're always making more. And then, of course, we have our in-house training, which is probably my favorite piece of the puzzle. Like, a lot of companies charge for training.
Yep.
They make money off it. They use it as profit. We literally give training to every one of our customers that buy from us. Like, it's just part of like the culture of, again, the machine is only as good as the people running it. So if you don't know what you're doing, I want to teach you.
Yep. So it is, and going back to what you just said about companies charging for that training.
Yeah.
There's still people that email asking about, the time for scheduling or whatever, and ask what the cost is and are still surprised that just like, get yourself here. We'll train you for the whole day.
Yeah. Just come to us. Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, it's cool that we can do that.
Right.
And aren't like, at least said the other companies that
are
still trying to nickel and dime people after they spent a bunch of money on a machine.
And then we obviously have traveling techs available. If, some people are just old school and they want us to come out to their site and do everything on their site, and that's fine. We do offer that available. And then, obviously we have preventative maintenance schedules that we provide, and, we tell you, how to track it. And there's some things there to help you make sure you keep your machine running. But again, you go into like, when you look at quality support, all the things we just mentioned, there's a lot of companies that don't offer any of that.
Right.
And it's like, that's just another level of quality support that you should, and I think people are listening to this and hopefully thinking about their business, the support you provide your customers and the things you do as a value adder that maybe your competitors aren't doing.
Right.
The way you treat your customers makes a difference. So
definitely kind of gives customers a stronger peace of mind knowing that any errors that they may have or may cause themselves are going to be usually easily rectified by just reaching out to somebody.
Yeah, and I've always said, like, ShopSabre is setting a new standard for support. Like, that's kind of what our goal is anyone can build or import a machine, right? I mean, it's not that hard to import, but it takes an expert to keep them running.
Yep.
And that's really what we're about is, ShopSabre believes in taking care of the people first. I've always lived by a phrase that if you take care of the people, everything else will fall in line.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of how we've always maintained life. And I'm going to be honest with you. Some people are just jerks. I'll be honest, 100% not going to like back down from that. Sometimes people are jerks, and we're going to we're going to do what we say we're going to do, and we're going to live to our name. And some people, you'll never make them happy. And
no matter how far above and beyond you go,
right.
It's still going to.
And then eventually you just stop going above and beyond.
Right.
Because once they are that person, just do what you have to do. You move on to the next person, because no matter what you do, you're just going to waste time on them, and you're going to wear yourself out just to be beat up. So, you got to talk about how you invest. The investments are made both ways, right? We invest in you as much as you invest in us. And, if we're willing to work together and, you call us and you take the time to actually reach out to us, our support team doesn't just talk the talk, but we walk the walk. Absolutely. Our support team will go above and beyond at all times to try to help you. But that comes on both sides. You have to be willing to do the same thing and understand we're humans too. And we aren't perfect. We're going to make mistakes. Things happen. But I promise you, we will always try to back up our mistakes with a quality resolution.
100%.
So, I think that's the biggest thing is that the impact, on the customer satisfaction and the business, growth is one-on-one. So, you got to talk about how if you want your business to grow, you have to develop a reputation and you have to build a product of a higher quality. And I think that's what we've really done. And as you start thinking about your business and, maybe it's time to start investing in it, maybe you don't have a CNC machine, you're thinking about it and you're on the fence. Investing in a quality machine like a ShopSabre or something where you have quality support will make all of the difference, because you're going to work your ass off to build your business and to build your reputation. And the quality piece of equipment you're going to be running could be the determining factor whether you keep that business.
For sure.
If you're, like I said, big job as a customer that I've already said, biggest job of his life, machine went down and they wanted 2 to 3 weeks to get a part. And, he loses all that time and he's got a pissed off customer the whole time.
Right.
And do you think that customer's going to come back to him?
Not at all. And if that customer, once again, is the biggest job of his life that they can come to him, but they're not going to, right?
Right. Yeah, not all machines are created equally. As much as they want to pretend it, investment in the right tool results in the right outcome, and the investment in the wrong tool can be costly to your business, and your competitors will absolutely thank you. Yep. I can promise you that. Your competitors will thank you for buying cheap shit. It's simple as that. Like, I tell you a story. I want to tell you a story, which you know the story already, but I'm going to talk about this. From this last week, I went to the Super Nationals, as I talked about, and I raced for 7 days. And again, 167 competitors. I get to the top 30, qualify 11th. And I had bought a fuel pump several weeks earlier, like 3-4 weeks earlier. And I'm going to be honest, I'll call it out. It was a Holley fuel pump. I bought a Holley fuel pump, which to me was a quality fuel pump. It's a name brand. I didn't know much about fuel pumps, but I could have bought an Edelbrock and I could have bought a Holley. And I didn't know anything about either company. I'll be honest, I didn't do any research either. And that's shame on me for not doing some more research. But anyways, come to find out long term, I've done a lot of research since having a problem. My Holley fuel pump failed. And again, my competitors will thank me for buying a Holley fuel pump because obviously my car broke and they didn't have to worry about beating me because I beat myself. It's the same thing about your business. If you buy a cheap quality product, your competitors will thank you because eventually they're going to beat you because you just beat yourself.
Yep.
And the point being is that I found out that the Edelbrock fuel pump, which I now have, is made in America. It has an American casting, and the other one was casted in Korea. Not saying there's anything wrong with casting in Korea, but it was definitely the casting that broke, causing my fuel pump to fail. And it was funny because there's an online video right now that actually compares the Edelbrock to the Holley, doing a comparison head to head. And I wish I would have seen that before I bought, because I would have bought the Edelbrock without even a doubt.
Was it one of those things where you're just in a hurry and had to have it? And
I just bought it off the Holley website. I never even went and researched. I didn't do anything. I just a name brand Holley, right? And I started to think about that, like in CNC and in cabinetry and in science and automotive. How many products you buy based on a name without actually doing any research?
Yeah.
And you just assume because it's a name brand that it's better. And I think about that in the CNC world. There's companies that we compete against that have some name brands that have been around a while, that customers just buy them and automatically assume they're a better product than ours because of the brand name. And it's like they didn't even give ShopSabre a chance because they weren't willing to do the research and find out that they could have got a better machine for less money.
Correct.
Or could have got a better machine. And yeah, it may have cost you a few $1,000s more, but you end up with better technology. It's that same mentality, that support, everything. It's like now I'm just dealing with all the nightmares that go along with buying cheap parts. But mine was a fuel pump. My fuel pump failed. My car broke. I didn't finish the race. Yours could be a CNC router. You buy the cheap router and it breaks in the middle of the biggest job of your life. Your competitors are going to thank you over and over and over again because you are going to make them rich.
So going back to the fuel pump for a second, was there a giant difference in price?
No. It was like $25. And that's what frustrates me is, yes, it was a little bit more money for the Edelbrock, but it was the biggest race of my life. Do you think I cared about $25 in the moment?
Right. No, absolutely not.
That's
what I was asking.
And that's the reason, it's relative, right? The fuel pump's only a few $100s and it's $25. But when you're talking about a CNC machine, you're talking about a few $1,000s. Do you think that few $1,000s really matters when you're on the biggest job of your life?
Not when that job's going to make you a few thousand.
Yeah, won't matter.
And your machine's going to run the whole time.
Absolutely won't matter. You will never remember the few $1,000s when you're running and your competitors are down.
Right.
You're going to be the happiest person in the world. So that's what I want people to think about is you start to think about that is how do you get to that next level? And it's investing in quality tools and quality products and people who are going to back you up.
For sure.
Not all CNC machines are made equally.
That is correct, sir.
And yeah, with that, that's what I have this week. I mean, this week's episode, that really kind of sums up what I wanted to talk about there, and I want to jump into one of my favorite, obviously, which is the internet is broken, of course. The internet is broken. I want to talk about how people like to stir the pot. And, absolutely for no reason. It seems to be on the weekend all the time. I don't know why that is.
You know why it is? Because they think we don't work on the weekend.
Probably because they think we're not working.
Right.
I was at the Super Nationals, and I get a text message from you. And it's like, hey, did you see these comments out there? And I went and looked. And I was just laughing because it's always the same, handful of people that will always try to stir the pot and get people going instead of just solving people's problem. Like a customer asks a legit question, wants some help, and you always got these handful of people out there that just want to stir the pot, try to get an argument going. And it's like, you just jump in, give him the real answer, and then just walk away.
And it really had nothing to do with his question for the most part.
And that's what I laugh about is it's just it's just to stir the pot. And it's just and it's on every website I'm on. And it's not just, nothing ShopSabre related necessarily, but even in the racing pages I'm in or in the Ford, page that I'm on for the F-150 or the F-350 page, the Super Duty page. It's always these people. It's the same people. If you just start to pay attention, it's always the same people making the same comments over and over, just hoping to find somebody that'll listen to them.
Correct.
It's just go away.
And then they find that one guy.
Oh my God.
And then they just...
It's like they're best friends.
Back and forth.
They become best friends and they just try to pile it up. And it's just if people in this world would start to just call those people out, I think the world would be a better place. Me and my dad were just talking about this. He went into a gas station recently and somebody came in just going off on the attendant because the pump wasn't working. And my dad just turned around and told them to go away.
Because that's their fault.
Yeah, and that my dad literally, like, that's what I love about my dad. My dad just turned around and told the person yelling at the other person to just go away.
Right.
Just get in your car and go away. Like, just go away. Because you're just wrecking everybody else's day.
Yep.
And you know that person came in making a scene, hoping to get other people, like, involved. But instead, somebody stood up to him.
Yep.
And I'm proud, like, to say that's my father. Because, like, you have to be willing to stand up to the bullies of the world.
Absolutely.
And I just tell people to stop. Like, handle it more professionally. Like, I almost feel bad for these people because that's how they determine that they should handle issues. And it's like, in today's world, just give people a fighting chance to solve the problem.
Right.
And,
and especially when it's something that's not even like, what do you think they're going to do about a broken gas pump?
Yeah.
Like, they're the attendant at the, like, they're
like,
taking your money
the
from
best
the They
part is
don't know
the
how to
person-
fix a gas pump.
my dad said the person responded with, well, it shouldn't be doing that. And then they said, well, it is. And I just think that's funny. Like, I don't know what you want them. Like, they're not an engineer.
Be like, sir, go grab a
They
piece
didn't
of
build
that.
the gas pump.
Go
Like,
grab a slice of that cheese pizza out of the
Right.
KC's rotating rack there, and it'll make your day a lot better.
right. I think that's what I would respond with. If I was that person, I'd be like, we have cheese sticks on sale.
Right.
Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, go away. Like, I'll look at the pump. Like, I'll try to help.
Yeah.
But yelling at me does not make me want to work on the pump faster.
Or go hop in your car and drive around the thing and use the other
Go to the other pump. Or
Like,
go to a different gas
There's
station.
so many other resources
There's
to fix
so
your
many
problem.
other options.
Or you know what? Better yet, if you don't want to be here, go to the Quick Trip down
Right,
the road
exactly.
and get gas there.
The
Like,
Quick Star's open. Like,
Yeah, it's like,
that would
come
be my
on.
response. Quick Start on the street
Start.
is open. It's actually funny. We're closed. You know, like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, but no. So, anyways, that was what I found is, just the internet being broken. Is just people and their tangents and stirring the pot and just find a way to be a better human. Like, just help each other out.
Yep. Don't be a D.
It's always my favorite. All right, moving on. This week's motivational quote. Believe that you can, and you're halfway there. And Teddy Roosevelt said that. Teddy Roosevelt said that, I think, right? Correct? Yeah, Teddy
Sounds
Roosevelt.
right.
But yeah, it was believe that you can, and you're halfway there. And I always like to use it both ways. Believe that you can't, and you're halfway there too.
That's true.
It's literally both ways. Like, mental state of mind is everything. Like, if you believe you can, you probably can. If you believe you can't, you probably can't. So as a business owner, as an employee, like, always have that positive mentality that you're going to succeed. Find a way to do it. You have the mental power to control where you're going. And when you believe negatively over and over and over, more than likely the negativity will seep in and it will be the response that you get.
You got to bring that positive energy in, and
Yeah.
things will turn the positive way.
Yeah. So believe that you can, and you are halfway there. Anything else you want to add to that?
I say that every time I'm halfway through running a marathon.
That you're halfway there?
I'm halfway there, and I believe I can do this.
You got it.
And I finish.
You know how many
It might take me
marathons
8
I've
days.
ran?
It might take me 8 days, but I'm going to get there.
8 days to run your one marathon. Everybody else is gone. It's all cleaned up. You're
Yep.
just, I'm there. Where's the finish line?
All the markings are gone where we were supposed to run, but I'm pretty sure I ran the right path, so I ran a marathon. Might have only been 5 blocks.
I
but
get in my
still
car,
finished.
just drive. Yeah, I haven't ran many marathons. I don't know. Just can't do it, man.
No.
But no, I like I said, I think, when you think about your business is kind of like a marathon. Everybody gets into business for the same reason because they all want to be billionaires. And then everybody realizes they're not a billionaire,
Right.
that it's way harder work than they thought, but it's rewarding. And that's why you keep going.
Absolutely.
So just keep doing what you're doing. I know that you probably have every reason in the world to quit right now. You have every reason in the world to give up, right? Everybody can find an excuse. Be the person that doesn't find the excuse and keeps going. Trust me, it's worth it. You're closer than you think.
I mean, heck, a week and a half ago, I wanted to quit because I was sitting by the pool and you wouldn't let me.
I know.
So
I'm glad I told you not to. But it's true. Like, honestly, like, in the moment, you can find every reason not to keep
for sure.
going. But, like, if you think about the long run, like, future you will thank you for not giving up today.
Absolutely.
So just keep going. Like, there's somebody out there listening to this right now that's on the cusp of, like, giving up. And I hope that this resonates with you today. I hope you hear me say, you're getting there. You're almost there. Keep pushing.
Yep.
Like, we believe in you. Keep pushing. Trust me, future you will appreciate it. Your family will appreciate it. Everybody else in the future, everybody in your future will appreciate it.
For sure.
Keep going. Not to mention somebody's hoping you give up, so don't give them the gratification.
Correct.
That's my favorite.
Don't give them the work by quitting.
Yeah. I just always like that one. Somebody's hoping you give up, so don't give up for that purpose. But yeah, that's what I know. So with that, we're going to move on to our final thoughts. So Nick, take it away. What's your final thought?
My final thought. That's a great question.
You have no thoughts
I
today?
wasn't prepared for that.
You have no final thoughts today?
I mean, I do. It's way too hot outside. I loved last weekend when it was 65 degrees. The windows were open and the wind was blowing through the house. Now it's like 85 again. It's not humid, but it's 85.
Worst final thoughts ever.
What do you mean? I thought it was just a discussion of what we're thinking
What's your
about.
final thoughts? It's too hot out.
It's September, man. It's supposed to be fall and 60 degrees.
I agree with you. It's definitely supposed to cool. This is my birthday month. It's supposed to be cool.
Birthday month?
Yeah.
You're a man. You have a birthday, not a birthday
Yeah, I know,
month.
but it's my month of my birthday, and it's never warm.
God.
It's supposed to be cool.
What if
it
it
cools off?
snows on your birthday?
It has.
Has it?
Yeah, it has. Not doesn't stick, but
Right,
it's
but-
done it.
You ever go snow racing?
No,
That'd be kind of fun.
I've never done that. They usually cancel it when it gets that cold because nobody wants to go watch that.
I would.
The fans
That'd
don't
be
want to go
sweet.
sit. The fans don't want to go sit in the stands.
Open it up for me, man. I'll go watch.
Just you.
Yeah.
They have ice racing though. That's kind of a real thing.
That'd be kind of scary.
Minnesota has ice racing.
Like with race cars?
Yeah, race cars on the ice.
Put studs in your tires?
Yeah, you put studs in your tires and you go race into circles.
Well, how does that work if you slam into somebody's tires that are all studded up? Not good for them, right?
I don't know. I've never done it.
You've never crashed?
I've never
Ice
snow
race.
raced. Yeah, I've
Okay.
never ice raced. But I've seen it. It's pretty cool.
Heck of a final thought segment.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But that wasn't even my final thought.
Oh, what's your final thought?
That was just piggybacking off of Mr. It's Too Hot Outside. No, my final thought is be kind to one another. Find a way to keep going. Invest in quality. I learned that the hard way this week. I preach it every day, but I got away from it in my personal life a little bit of like, hey, this fuel pump, I didn't do any research on it. I just bought the one that I thought, hey, it's a name brand. It's got an affordable price.
But it was a brand that you heard other people use, right?
Yep. Doesn't
So it's
matter
like,
though. Do your
well, no.
research. Don't cut corners.
But I was just trying to, in your defense, I was trying
Yeah,
to kind of
I
like,
get it, but I'm
done
gonna
the
hold
same
myself
thing.
accountable on that one.
Sure.
Like you got to be. And it's a perfect example of it. Like when you cut a corner because you think you get comfortable, it bites you,
Yeah.
and it got me. So my final thought is just take the time to understand, what you're investing in. Take the time to do your research. Make sure that, especially in your business, you're putting the energy in that you need to. Right now, there's a lot of people out there that are worn out and tired and crabby. We all have a reason to be crabby right now, and just don't be. Let's all be kind to one another. Let's find a way to keep moving, forward, and let's build something really great. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us as American businesses to continue to push forward and strengthen what we're doing and just give people a better experience. I think customer service. Anybody listen to this? Take care of your customers. Take the time to really just go above and beyond, do things that you don't see commonly, and I think you'll find the personal gratification before your customers will even find the gratification.
Absolutely. I do have a real final thought now, though.
Okay, I like it. Go.
We're all going to make mistakes in life, right?
Yep.
But the biggest thing is to learn from those mistakes and be better.
Agreed. I like that one. Yeah. That is a great final thought. Yeah.
No one's perfect. We're all
We
gonna
all
make
make mistakes.
Learn
Let's
from
learn
it.
together. Yeah. Let's learn together. So, yeah, with that, I think that is going to wrap up this episode because that's a good way to end it. So, as always, we appreciate each and every one of you listeners listening to us every week talk about things that a lot of times don't matter, but hopefully you find some humor in it and you've had some fun with us. But again, we appreciate you tuning in every week to another episode of Talking Shop. And with that, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Nick.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.